Okay, everybody's ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
All right.
You're on the clock.
Scene 1, 4th grade class in Boston, Massachusetts. I can't believe we're going to be middle schoolers next year.
Actually, I believe they call it junior high.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, it should be the middle school because we have more independence and are able to move into different classrooms.
I see your point on this, but I believe it should be called the junior high because we are bridging the gap between elementary and high school.
But in middle school, we are able to choose some of our subjects and when we want to learn more about them instead of just math, science, and history or English.
Junior high preps you more for high school and higher education, and we have only 7th and 8th graders in our school compared to you having 6th through 8th.
But we have way more ways to show emotions, personality, social, and emotional developments where we are able to grow as successful students.
On top of the teachers being able to work in group teaching, all the science subject matters to the students of the same level, while junior high school assigns each student to teach at random.
Junior high school is like regular class with students going to the same class each day, while middle school has block scheduling that allows classes to be divided into longer periods on alternate days.
We can thank Charles W. Eliot for junior high students. We have credit hours or Carnegie units pushed forth and supported by the Carnegie Foundation that helped us better understand how high school works and what we need to know to prepare for ourselves for our future.
You all bring up very interesting points. It sounds like we need to extend our understanding on the history of secondary school movement. So tonight, I want you all to do a little research and tell me more about it tomorrow. Class dismissed.
The next day at school.
Okay, class. What did you find out last night about the history of secondary education?
Well, I had cheer practice, so I couldn't do much homework.
I found out a lot, Miss Ortega, because I always do my homework.
Yeah, we know, Brainiac.
Now, what did we find out?
Well, the secondary English classical school was founded in 1821 right here in Boston. It had no girls. It's like a paradise.
Excuse me, boys have cooties. I wouldn't even want to go to that school anyway.
English classical school was not like Boston Latin school, but it educated working class boys for business, mechanics, and engineering trades instead of preparing schoolboys for college ministry. English high school was later called, its original curriculum consisted of such courses as English, surveying, navigation, geography, logic, and civics, as well as a strong emphasis on mathematics.
Very good.
Well, I found out that the common schools used to be publicly funded, so high schools weren't always funded by the taxpayers originally. It wasn't until a Michigan legislator in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in 1859 that passed a law that authorized schools districts of more than 200 aged children to elect school boards to govern their districts. Once the schools were over 200 students, they could be funded. Many people opposed it, but the courts upheld the laws. Now, all secondary schools are funded through taxes.
My dad hates taxes. He would oppose to it.
Of course.
Wow, AJ. That is interesting and impressive that a 4th grader understands the concept of public funding. So, what is taught in secondary school?
I'm glad you asked that, Miss Ortega. I primarily focused on curriculum and its early influence.
I bet you did, nerd.
Anyway, around 1892, a working group of prominent educators, including Charles W. Eliot, president of Harvard University, recommended the standardization of American high school education. They did this because educators were divided on who should be educated and what should be taught, and the NEA appointed them. The group was called the Committee of 10. Some of the recommendations were 8 years of elementary education and 4 years of secondary education. It defined 4 different curricula as appropriate for high school. The first 2 followed a classical trend. classical, and Latin scientific. The second were two more contemporary, modern language and English. Courses that now are considered basic, like foreign languages and mathematics, science, English, and history, were included in each curriculum.
My God, your dad probably did your homework. You're in 4th grade for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't understand your logic. Guys, don't forget there's a game at 7.
Can we please stay on topic?
Okay. Didn't the NEA then release the cardinal principles of secondary education that issued objectives that took the series of 10 recommendations further and in keeping with needs of modern industrial society? Objectives like 1. Health. 2. Common fundamental process. Worthy home membership. Vocation. Citizenship. Worthy of leisure. And ethical character.
How did you do that?
I don't know. Spirit fingers. I plan on cheering forever. All I need are my life skills.
I'm planning on going to high school to learn more and be a cop.
I wouldn't have guessed since you dress like a cop every day at school.
Couldn't tell, Mr. Junior Officer.
Well then.
I am attending college preparatory school since I want to be a doctor.
What a nerd.
Nerd. Well, my dad told me to join the military forces because after service, my college is paid for. It's called the GI Bill, and it was enacted after World War II so that veterans returning home could be successful after World War I.
Wow, class. I think you learned way more than I expected, and possibly way more than any 4th grader should know. Well, let's begin math class.
See?
No! You hopped into that one way too fast.
Which one?
Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
Woo!